All right, let's talk automotive quality. If you think achieving world-class status is just about tweaking a few processes, think again. It's way deeper than that. It's a fundamental transformation in how leaders think. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the critical mindset shifts that really separate the legends from, well, everyone else. And this quote, it really hits home, right? A covenant with society. That's powerful stuff, because in this industry, the stakes are just insanely high. We're not just talking about business metrics or some number on a spreadsheet. No, this is a moral imperative. It's about human safety. It's about the trust people place in us every single time they get behind the wheel. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle the why, the quality imperative. Then we'll get to the real meat of it, the 6 critical shifts. After that, we'll look at how to make it a daily habit. And we'll finish up with a challenge, just for you. All right, first up, the quality imperative. Let's really dig into why this matters so much right now. This isn't a nice to have, folks. It's completely non-negotiable. Look, we all know the standards, right? IATF 16949. That's just the price of admission. It's the bare minimum. True excellence? That happens when quality stops being some department down the hall and becomes the actual operating system for your entire company. Think of it like the software that runs everything. That's how you safeguard lives. That's how you build that rock-solid trust. Okay, this is it. This is the core of what we're talking about today, the 6 critical mindset shifts. These are the game changers. Every leader in this space needs to get these right. So let's jump in. Shift number 1, this is a big one. It's all about moving from being reactive to proactive. From being a firefighter to being a fire marshal. It's the difference between catching mistakes at the finish line versus designing them out of the process from day one. I mean, look at the difference here. The old way, you wait till the very end and hope for the best. The new way, you're engineering quality in from the get-go during APQP. So the question you have to ask yourself as a leader is this. Are our most important safety and critical characteristics baked into the design from the absolute beginning? Okay, on to shift number 2. This one is about what we're really chasing. Yeah, hitting your production numbers feels good, but it's totally pointless if what you're shipping doesn't deliver for the customer. The real goal, the only goal that matters, is creating value. You've seen it happen. The pressure is on to hit the daily number, and suddenly, a minor issue gets pushed through. That's the old way. The transformed approach is laser-focused on zero-defect products that actually make customers happy. It boils down to one simple but really powerful question for every leader to ask every single day. Is what we're building today going to create a happy customer or a future headache? Shift number 3. Oh man, this one hits home for a lot of people. It's about getting out of that endless cycle of firefighting. You know what I'm talking about? Running from one crisis to the next. The goal is to get ahead of the curve, to use maintenance intelligence to predict problems before they ever happen. Yeah, it's the difference between reacting to the fire alarm and making sure the building is fireproof in the first place. This is where things like total productive maintenance come in. But it can't just be a checklist you tick off. It has to be a real, living strategy. So you've got to ask yourself, is our maintenance plan actually preventing failures? Or is it just something we do because it's on the schedule? All right, shift 4 is all about perspective. It's about zooming out. It's so easy to get hyper-focused on making one little station perfect, right? But a great leader sees the whole picture. They see the entire value stream, from the first supplier to the final customer. Because think about it, if you make one station super fast, you might just be creating a huge bottleneck 5 steps down the line. It's not about isolated pockets of efficiency. The real win is orchestrating the entire system to flow with a perfect rhythm, that tact time. So the question always has to be, okay, we made this one thing better, but how does that affect the whole system? Shift number 5. We're back to that firefighter idea. Look, it's great to be an expert at putting out fires, but it's 1,000 times better to be a master at preventing them from ever starting. And that's all about proactive risk intelligence. So instead of just getting really good at your AT problem solving after the fact, you become obsessed with prevention before the fact. Your FMEA, your failure modes and effects analysis, that can't be some dusty document you pull out for an audit. No way. It has to be a living, breathing tool that your team uses every day. And when something does go wrong, the question a leader has to ask is brutally honest. Why didn't our FMEA predict this?
And that brings us to our sixth and final shift. This is a really important one. It's not about data versus people. It's about data and people. It's about taking all that priceless, hard-won experience your team has and turbocharging it with real-time data and analytics.
This is how you go from good to great. Your gut feeling, your experience, that's your intuition. Data is what confirms it or challenges it. It gives you predictive power. When you use tools like SBC and really dig into your traceability data, you start seeing things, patterns that a human eye could easily miss, which leads to a really cool, forward-looking question. What secrets about the future are hiding in our data right now? Okay, so we've got the 6 shifts down. That's the what. But now for the big question, how do you actually do it? How do you make this stuff stick? This next part is all about the toolkit, the practical daily habits that turn these ideas into your company's culture. And you know what? It can start with something ridiculously simple, like this, a daily 90-second quality check. That's it, a minute and a half. Spend 30 seconds reviewing the last shift's critical rejects, another 30 seconds on any alarms tied to your most important characteristics, and the last 30 seconds for a quick random walk on the line. It's so simple, but it keeps leaders plugged in and shows everyone that quality is always the top priority. And of course, you've heard it a million times. What gets measured gets managed. So what does world-class actually look like in numbers? Well, here are the benchmarks. We're talking first-pass yield over 99.5%. We're talking less than 10 defective parts per million getting to the customer, a CPK of 1.67 or better, and an OEE over 85%. These aren't just wishful thinking. These are the real numbers that separate the best from the rest. All right, let's pull all of this together. We've covered the why, the what, and the how. Now comes the most important part, your commitment. This is about taking these ideas off the screen and putting them into action. And to get you started, here's a simple 30-day action plan. This is designed to help you build real momentum and avoid those classic traps, like only scrambling when an audit is coming up or just pointing the finger at suppliers. Instead, you start inward, assess your risks, validate your processes. Then you look outward to your partners and customers. This is how you make excellence the default setting. And let's be really clear about something. This isn't about being perfect tomorrow. Nobody expects that. But what defines true quality leadership is the relentless pursuit of that perfection. It's that constant, public, unwavering drive for zero defects. It's about earning that customer trust, one perfect part at a time. So I'm going to leave you with a direct challenge. Look back at those 6 shifts we talked about. Which one of those could give your team the biggest, fastest breakthrough right now, this quarter? And don't just think about it. I want you to pick one, just one, special or critical characteristic in your entire operation that you are going to personally own and protect. That's it. That's where the real transformation starts.